You think we go to see your movies, Harry? I've seen better film on teeth.
Are you not entertained?
Welcome to Must See Movies, a podcast featuring reviews of old and new movies for your consideration. Now let's get on with the show.
Well, hello and welcome to the next episode of Must See Movies. And of course, you've got Derek and myself, Lawrence, back to talk about our next round of movies. Actually, it's only one movie this episode.
Right.
And we just walked out of seeing it. It was The Mandalorian and Grogu.
Yes.
So it is our new movie, and it's our only movie we'll be discussing during this episode. And right now, as we're sitting here in a movie theater, we're just going to capture some initial thoughts about what we thought about the movie. And I'm going to start with Derek's thoughts.
Well, as I said, as we were walking out, I feel like a kid again, seeing what I saw in the just the action and the story itself.
Mm-hmm.
I get that it's a little different than what we're used to from the original Star Wars movies
Sure.
like that. But it did take me back to a bunch of things that we did experience, especially Empire and Return of the Jedi kind of things that I felt were really cool to see again.
Okay, so for you, this satisfied everything that you wanted to see in a Star Wars movie.
I don't know if I would say exactly that, but
Okay.
I came in expecting something, and it was a lot better than I thought it would be. But
Okay.
I don't know if anything really keeps up with, a Star Wars-like movie. I think it's a good little story within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and that's probably how I would look at it too. So, I mean, personally, I really enjoyed the Mandalorian series, and likewise, there was some crossover with the other TV series, the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
Because the Mandalorian appeared in that, and there was some crossover storylines and that kind of thing. And as far as watching those on TV at home, and it being a Star Wars themed show,
Right.
I enjoyed it immensely.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say the same for this movie,
Okay.
because I feel like they could have just taken most of this content
Yeah.
and made it a TV show.
I think I can feel that way, too, about certain things. There's certain movies I see that way, too. But I do get what you're saying. It should be something more of a blockbuster kind of thing as opposed to just another, maybe elaborate, longer TV episode.
Yeah, I mean, so if I think back to the Star Wars movies, so you've got the original trilogies,
Right.
and those are all centered around the story of Luke Skywalker or the Skywalker family.
Correct.
Except for the last three, which kind of get a little dicey, even though Luke Skywalker appears in it. Of course, they treated him badly, I feel, and didn't respect the character of what they should have done with it. They were just trying to surprise us, and
Right.
it ended up being something I think sucked. But when it came to, like, say, Rogue One,
Right.
okay, now that's a movie where it would be similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any of the main characters,
Right.
except for the cameos like Princess Leia,
Mm-hmm.
Grandma talking, and of course Darth Vader's in it too.
Right.
And that probably is a big reason why that movie was so good. But that movie was very Star Warsy to me and deserving of a big screen release.
Right.
And then so you got that movie, you got the trilogies, then you got like Han Solo, which I know a lot of people shit on, but I actually liked Han Solo.
I like it.
A Star Wars story. It may not have been quite as good as Rogue One, and for not having the Force and Jedis and all that kind of stuff in it, it still was about Han Solo, and I thought it did a halfway decent job.
Yeah.
But this movie, it has a little bit of the Force in it, but there's no Jedis. There's no real ties to any of the main characters from the main Star Wars universe. I mean, sure, it's set in a time after Return of the Jedi,
Right.
But that was one of the things about the Mandalorian series, which I thought was so cool, is that you were waiting for and looking for those tie-ins with the main Star Wars universe. You know, you were looking for the tie-in with Boba Fett. You were looking for, in the end of season 2, for Christ's sakes, Luke Skywalker himself shows up, God Almighty, and you know, just takes out all these bad guys. It was amazing to see that, and it reinforced something in me about watching that TV series. And season 3 was less spectacular for me, I think, because it kind of focused more on elements that were from the first 3 movies and the Clone Wars and that kind of stuff, and didn't really excite me as much. Well, that's something else too. Even though I'm not a Clone Wars guy and a prequels guy, I enjoyed the TV series Ahsoka.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was more Star Wars-y than this. The Kenobi series, I thought, was excellent. Even though they shit on that one too. I didn't watch The Acolyte. I didn't really get into Andor.
Yeah, me either.
I liked the Skeleton Crew because it was a little bit more about kind of the kids' excitement and exploration of the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and I recently saw Maul, Lord of the Sith, or I think that's what it was called, animated one.
Yeah,
it was really good. But I think what we have to realize is that whole thing is over.
Yeah.
However, in this movie, I felt more connected to it, and I felt like I saw more of it because of the way the action was, just the way the certain things were. I don't want to give things away necessarily, but the mechanical things and just the talking and just how they kind of ran things. And it was still the Rebels and the Empire in my mind when I saw it.
Sure. Okay.
It made me feel that way.
All right. Well, we'll leave it there for now. This is just our initial reaction. You know, by the time we sit down and actually do the recording for the episode, maybe my mind might change if I do a little bit more research, or maybe yours might change.
Right. Sure.
So, but right now we'll go ahead and leave it at that, and we'll throw it back to the studio.
All right.
Welcome to episode 9 of Must See Movies, a podcast featuring reviews of old and new movies, although we're going to break the rules today.
Yes, we are. New one only.
New one only. Derek and I have just seen the Star Wars film, The Mandalorian and Grogu, and you just heard, prior to this, our reactions just coming out of the theater.
Yes.
And all of the thoughts that we had at the time, and a few days have passed, some opportunity to reflect, some time to calm down, in my case, and think about what we really feel about the movie that we saw. So our movie, again, is Star Wars, The Mandalorian and Grogu. It is a new movie out in theaters now, and we're going to kick it off with, as we normally do, a few facts, and then I'm going to throw it to Derek to talk about what he thinks and that kind of thing. We're going to get a movie clip in here and all that as well. But for starters, Derek, I'm sure you know that this movie is directed by Jon Favreau.
Favreau, yes.
And you're familiar with his resume?
Yes.
And for those of you who aren't, probably a couple of films that would register on your, oh yeah, I've seen that, or I know about that. He directed the movie Elf.
Yes.
And that was probably one of the things that just sent him off into stardom. And
by the way, he wasn't directing any after the first one because him and Will Ferrell butted heads, but go ahead.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I remember seeing some thoughts about, or some documentary type clips. That's what I meant to say. And found out that they were not on the best of terms.
Yeah, in the creative sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but, you gotta think that with guys like Will Ferrell, who are extremely talented, extremely funny, that there's got to be something off.
Right, exactly.
He just can't be around people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
yeah,
you got Elf, and then of course you've got Iron Man.
That's that little independent film, right?
Yes, right. And that one also made him a god.
Yes.
Within the Marvel universe,
and kind of restarted, if not completely started, the Marvel
Pretty
movies.
much. I mean,
Yeah.
he's as big as Planet Eater guy.
Oh, Galactus.
Galactus. He's
Yeah.
like Galactus level
Yep.
in the Marvel Universe as far as creative types are concerned. So this movie, I mentioned the writers. I don't always mention the writers, but I think it's important to mention the writers in this one. And of course, the writers include Jon Favreau, okay, Dave Filoni. Now, Dave Filoni, if you're familiar at all with the Star Wars universe in recent years, you know Dave Filoni with Jon Favreau are like the second coming
Right.
for Star Wars. You know, they're almost on religious level sainthood within this universe. They are credited with things like saving Star Wars or are bringing the meaning and true spirit of Star Wars back to the franchise. Because as you probably know, there were a few feature films that were launched in the Star Wars universe post purchasing it from George Lucas
Yes.
for billions of dollars. This guy made out like a bandit. He was laughing all the way to the bank. He's like, ha, I just wrote a script on some silly little Star Wars thing, and you guys gave me so much money I can own my own planet. And I think he wants to go there. So anyway, they are credited with bringing back and I think mostly it's that they have found a way to tap in to the sensibilities of the generation that probably means the most to Star Wars, which is ours.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, fuck Gen Z and all those guys. It's us,
Yeah.
right? We're the ones who were there at the beginning.
Damn it.
Damn it. we were there. We bought the merchandise.
That's
we
right.
sucked this thing up like it
That's
was,
right.
Oxygen.
However, it wasn't 100% for us because we have Grogu. But go ahead.
Right. No, I mean, we were living and dying with every
Living and dying.
clip and scene and possible mention of this thing. You would run out to bookstores and just ravage the shelves looking for anything
Ravish those shelves.
that had Star Wars in it or George Lucas or anybody associated with it. We were the original fans.
We were. 1 second.
Yeah.
Do you know that after the first movies we saw, whatever like that, whenever we had these things called bookstores to go to, not Amazon, but you go to an actual bookstore,
Right.
the whole world of books that were about things after the initial movies and everything like that.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I guess some of these movies come from some of that, maybe some of this stuff as canon, but I think that it was just crazy how many they had. But the thing is, I never got into reading any.
Yeah. Well, and, my understanding of all of that is when they were launching the third trilogy, they sat down and basically said, okay, it's been 20 plus years or whatever, 20 years. We'll footnote that, by the way. Whatever time has passed from the last movie to the time that we're going to make the next movie in the trilogy, we're just going to say everything that was created in that time is now not part of canon.
Right.
And we'll just call it Legends. So these are Star Wars-inspired stories and everything, all the history, all the things that they... And I get it. They had to do that because if they were just going to dive into that stuff and say, okay, we're going to tell the storyline that was started back at the end of Return of the Jedi in all of the books, like The Heir of the Empire, and those kind of novels. If we're just going to pick those up and just make movies out of them 20 years later or whatever it is, yeah, I mean, maybe the people will be excited about that, but everybody's going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So we got to throw all that shit out the window and start fresh and surprise everybody with our new storyline, with our new timeline that happens. And they took all of George Lucas's input and they basically shit-canned that. And they also, again, all the legacy stuff, they got rid of all that. And then they developed a timeline where they made Luke Skywalker a fucking bum.
And we call that a fart in church.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My point.
Yep.
So I'm
I agree.
hostile.
I
about
understand.
it. I'm hostile.
You are
about
hostile.
it. Luke Skywalker was the man. He was the man. And they made him less than what he was in such a disgusting way. But anyway, I digress.
Okay.
So, what are we talking about? No, it's the Mandalorian and Grogu. So anyway, Jon
Writers.
Favreau, Dave Filoni, and then there's this guy, Noah Clore. And his claim to fame is basically he wrote some of the Mandalorian TV series, which, gave him, and actually the Book of Boba Fett too, which we'll talk a little bit about here in a minute, which gave him the credentials to join Favreau and Filoni in creating this movie.
Okay.
So those are we're just on the writers, for Christ's sake.
I know. It makes sense.
Oh, my God. Stars, Pedro Pascal, although, did you know this? There's an asterisk. There's an asterisk next to this, and I'm a little freaked out about this. Have you ever heard of Brendan Wayne?
No.
Well, you were watching Brendan Wayne probably most of the time.
Oh, really?
On the screen when the Mandalorian was helmeted.
Okay.
Okay? During those rare moments when his helmet was removed, like when he was with the Hutts.
Yeah, mainly then. Yeah.
Yeah. That was Pedro. Okay? But most of the time, it was Brendan who donned the armor. And I forget the name of the metal that the armor's made out of. What is it?
Oh.
It's footnoted. Footnoted. Okay. But anyway.
Is there a reason why that is that way? Because the other guy was better at stunts?
No, there was a separate stunt guy.
Oh, wow.
So basically, the Mandalorian was made up of 3 people. You had the voice of Pedro Pascal most of the time until they had to take his helmet off. And then you had Brendan Wayne, who was the Mandalorian suit performer.
Suit performer.
Suit performer.
Not stunt person.
Not stunt person.
Does that mean he walks?
Well, I mean, this is whenever he's moving around and his helmet is on, this is Brendan we're probably seeing.
But he has a stunt person, too, though.
There is a stunt person. So whenever there's a stunt...
Which is a lot of times.
And I didn't get that guy's name, and I'll footnote that, too.
He did the most work, but go ahead.
He did a lot of work because there were a lot of stunts. So there was a separate stunt guy, okay? Which,
Right.
I mean, in movies, especially action, adventure, that kind of stuff, we expect that. I mean, when we're watching Smoking the Bandit and all that kind of stuff, and somebody goes crashing through a window, whatever, we know that's not Burt Reynolds.
Right.
We know that's a stunt guy. Although Burt Reynolds liked doing his own stunts, I must say. But either way, we know that most of the time there's a stunt guy comes in because the actor is too important, too much invested in
Too
him. They
pretty.
don't want to. Yes, exactly. They don't want to mess him up.
Yeah.
So they get some schmuck, who's willing to take some bodily harm, I should say, and do that kind of stuff. So anyway, outside of Brendan Wayne and Pedro Pascal, you have Sigourney Weaver.
Yep.
Who basically is just buying another summer home somewhere in Spain or something with this film. I mean,
Yeah.
Her involvement in this, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I watched an interview, maybe I would get a better sense. Maybe she's always wanted to be part of the Star Wars universe. Maybe she was like, oh, if I could just... It's like, who's the guy that was James Bond, last James Bond?
Daniel Craig?
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig wanted just to be a stormtrooper. At some point, I mean, after he's already hit his success as James Bond, Daniel Craig was just, oh, could I get a little part? I could just walk in the background in a stormtrooper outfit. And they put him in the movie, and in, what is it, The Force Awakens, he's the guy who comes in to check on Rey when she's been captured by Kylo Ren, and she's on the chair or on the table, getting ready to get examined by Kylo Ren.
Right.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And she force controls his head to say, "Hey, you're going to let me out of these things. You're going to leave your gun." And he's the guy that does that. He's the stormtrooper that does all that.
Yeah.
But at first, he just wanted a bit part. He just wanted to show up
Right.
on set as a stormtrooper. So anyway, I forget the point I was making there.
Sigourney Weaver wasn't
Weaver,
really necessary in our
maybe
eyes.
she wanted to do
Yeah.
something like that. But honestly, I mean, this is the easiest work that she's probably done.
Yeah.
I don't think that she stood much for any of her scenes. Do you remember her standing at all?
A lot of sitting.
I don't think I didn't even see her run or walk. She was a lot of sitting. Some of it was behind a table. Some of it was in an X-wing. Again, X-wings aren't real. I hate to break it to you. So that was just sitting in a set.
They're real to me, damn it.
And then this is the weirdest one. Most of the other guys are, just maybe they mean something to sci-fi nerds who really get into who stars in this and that and all that in the sci-fi film universe. But you've heard of the name Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Okay? Martin, amazing director of films, right? Just, Taxi Driver. You just could go on and on. Casino. Is it Casino?
I think so, yeah.
You've got The Irishman.
Yeah.
Just all these, gritty crime, mafia films. And he's done some other stuff, too. It's not just all that. But brilliant director. For some reason, and I don't know if this is like a recent event, and I guess we'll have to footnote this, too. He's showing up in films as an actor. And in this one, he's a voice actor for the character Hugo Durant.
Oh, okay.
And so Hugo Durant is one of those little guys that hooks up with Grogu.
The little mechanics.
The little mechanic guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like the older little guy.
Yeah.
Okay? And he's the voice of that. And he's got like 3 lines in the whole thing. But, you got to... if I was the guy in accounting over there at Lucasfilms, and I was writing out the paychecks, and I'm like, God damn it, I got to write out a check to Martin Scorsese because he's Martin Scorsese for 3 lines that he said, in like 30 minutes of work, and it's going to, be like a ginormous check because it's Martin Scorsese.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. The accountants are just pulling their hair out at this point. So anyway, let's talk about the synopsis. Let's go through the film a little bit here. I have a little one, but jump in, add some detail, if you want. So you got the bounty hunter, Din Djarin, which is the Mandalorian, and Pedro Pascal is his voice most of the time, and sometimes his person, and his apprentice, Grogu, who are working for the fledgling New Republic. So now this is in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
The heroes, Luke and Han and Leia, they save the universe from the Empire's latest Death Star, and they kill, Darth Vader's gone, the Emperor's gone, all this stuff. So now the Empire fractures into factions where we've got all these warlords now, all the generals and admirals that are surviving who weren't there at the battle of what is the Ewok planet.
It wasn't Hoth, was it?
No, that's in the beginning
you're
of Empire Strikes Back. That's the ice planet. What is the
I liked Hoth.
Ewok planet's name? Footnote. So we're at the battle of that, right? The parts of the Empire, their military forces that weren't there for that. Now you've got all of these troops and ships and things across the universe, and these generals and admirals are taking over their troops that they were under their control, and they're basically warlords at this point. Some of them working together, some of them still independent, whatever. But the goal of the New Republic is to erase the remnants of the Empire. So they hire the Mandalorian to go after these people who are in control of these forces and that kind of thing. So most of seasons 1, 2, and 3 of the Mandalorian TV series took place in this time period. But you didn't really see a lot of the after effects of that. You got a little bit of that. You see stormtroopers who are wearing armor that's maybe not up to snuff anymore. They looks a little worn around the edges.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So you could see that, the Empire has fallen on hard times. So they're not really
refurbished.
And, yes, exactly.
Suits.
They're they got patches on their armor and stuff like that. So they're tracking down scattered Imperial warlords, and it's kind of weird. I don't know, what did you think of the the card
card game?
system that they had.
I think that is something that they should
Yeah.
have done in our military or something
Yeah,
to
Iraq
that
War.
effect. Yeah,
The Iraq War.
yeah, and they make a deck of cards, and
Yeah.
it's a top 10 or 50 or whatever. And it was interesting. I mean, it was cool to see. Didn't necessarily need it because, what we only were involved with a couple of them. And I don't think I would have known the other ones if they would have said them who they were.
See, this is one of my complaints.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start my complaining now.
Yay.
One of my complaints about futuristic movies, especially something like Star Wars, where the very beginning of it is a long time ago
Mm-hmm.
in a galaxy far, far away. So far away, we still take things from your galaxy and your culture, and we work it into ours,
Yes.
but it's not the same, even though it is. And that's the thing that bothers me big time is that the writers are so fucking lazy that they can't come up with a different idea. And it's not like the whole idea of the villains on the deck of cards or the warlords on the deck of cards is that ingenious. I mean, honestly, when I heard it during the Iraq War, that, soldiers were issued decks of cards with, all the guys, Saddam Hussein and all his generals and stuff on it, I thought, yeah, it makes sense because these guys are sitting around, when they're not getting their brains shot out or whatever, they're playing cards and they're, killing time and whatever. So it makes sense that they have something that's familiar to them and helps them keep these guys' images in their head so when they find them, they know what they're looking for, that kind of thing. That made sense. That seemed unique. That seemed almost ingenious in some way, even though the Iraq War was anything but ingenious. But then for us to take that idea, and maybe it's just because I remember, and the kids who are watching this today don't know anything about this or don't remember this, they use that idea in The Mandalorian, and I'm like, really? You couldn't come up with another idea for Mando to have a list of bad guys that he's going to track down? You give him a deck of cards like they did in the Iraq War.
Yeah, I think to kind of defend it, it wasn't necessarily needed, but having that silhouette and not seeing what the person looked like was just to emphasize that he didn't know what they looked like.
I get
so
that.
now this becomes important to find this person, and now they're being kept secret.
But this is also an advanced scientific, technological situation, right? They can travel faster than the speed of light, but they have to use paper cards to remember what these bad guys are.
I understand what you're saying, but we saw slugs fighting. So what do you want me to do?
But they were giant.
They were giant.
They were enormous.
They were giant.
Anywho,
sorry.
So we go from, so he's got to track down these warlords, and we get a beginning scene that's really just, to get your adrenaline going.
It
right?
did for me.
Yes, I think,
I was excited.
I saw that, and I was wondering if you maybe wanted to have a napkin or something to take care of it. So,
no, the popcorn was not falling out of the bag yet.
Right. It's like, whoa, dude, really? No, anyway.
We would have a seat empty between us.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway.
No, so it was really just to say, hey, we're gonna kick this thing off, balls to the wall. We're gonna blow shit up, and lasers are gonna fly everywhere, and all this kind of stuff. And it's, it works. It's a great opening scene.
Yeah.
It's very exciting, that kind of thing. So he accomplishes this mission, and then he goes back to base, the New Republic's base, and that's where he encounters Sigourney Weaver's character, who is Republic Commander Ward.
And he gets his first mission, at least in the movie, for us.
Yes, yeah. So she wants him to track down, or go and rescue, actually, I beg your pardon, the son of Jabba the Hutt. One of the first references to anything to the original Star Wars, and it's a thin one at that.
It's
very,
thin,
very stretched.
But the AT-AT walkers were kind of a reference to.
Yeah.
I like those. Those were cool.
I mean, yes, sir. Okay, I get it.
All right. I'm not trying to talk you out of your feelings.
So, Mando is tasked by the new Republican Commander Ward to find the mysterious warlord Commander Coin the New Republic has been offered intel on his whereabouts by the Hutt twins, basically siblings of Jabba the Hutt and successors to his crime syndicate. And in exchange for rescuing Jabba's son and the heir to Jabba's throne, Rada, from the moon Shakira, which apparently has a wonderful ass. I'm just saying. If you ever watched the moon Shakira, the moons of Shakira. Woo! Anywho.
All day he worked on that one.
Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right and not forcing a joke.
If not, there's editing.
There it is. So Mando receives a new Razor Crest ship as prepayment. So the ship that he lost in the TV series because it was blown up, he gets another one.
And a pilot, which was a pretty cool character, I think.
His
newer person.
And I got to be honest with you. I would probably footnote this. It's probably a dude from one of the prequel era things. It's probably one of those. So you've got, the prequels, you got the Clone Wars, and then you got, Rebels, Star Wars, those little series that popped up that were trying to be the connective tissue from the prequels to the center trilogy, which is the only one that really matters.
Right.
Just my opinion. So he's probably a guy from that. I'll have to double check that in the footnotes. So anywho, they head off to try to save Rada, but Rada doesn't need saving.
That he knows of.
Well, he thinks he's the shit because he's, like the most winningest gladiator.
Star Wars UFC.
Yes, exactly. In this this arena fight that he's a part of. And the guy who is in charge of this is, I don't have his name, but this guy, is his boss, and he gave him, and so Rada's, this big time winningest gladiator kind of thing. And Mando comes to him and says, hey, I'm trying to get you out of here. We got to take you back to your, I guess, aunt and uncle so we can get information on where this Empire commander is. And Rada's like, well, no, wait. This guy that's in charge of me is the guy that you're looking for. And if I go back to my aunt and uncle, they're going to kill me because they don't want me to be around. They want me to die so they can keep controlling Jabba's empire.
And the weirdest thing
Yes.
is that, what's the son's name again?
Rada.
Has a human voice.
Yeah, he sounds very human.
As opposed to Jabba or
Yeah.
the twins, who also talk human here and there.
Yes.
But not anything more than their slug
Yeah, they
speech.
talk, well, so
it was just off-putting to see
we
that.
would say it's English. I think maybe in the Star Wars universe they call it basic. I could be wrong about that. I'll double check that too. But whatever the regular language is in the Star Wars universe, they can also talk that, but they also talk their own Hutt language. But yeah, he talks like a normal person.
Yeah.
Which is a little off-putting.
It is kind of different.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked the character, by the way.
He wasn't
There was
bad.
a lot of comparisons to him and Jar Jar Binks, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't see that.
It
He
wasn't
wasn't a
that bad.
comedic
No.
element.
No, he was
So-
a good part of the story to make it
Yeah.
kind of a worthwhile part of it.
Right. So during the Mandalorian's time with Rada and trying to convince him and get him to leave and all this kind of stuff, he uncovers a plot that actually is intended to kill Rada. That was started by his aunt and uncle or whoever they are, the Hutts, the Hutt twins, that are trying to get rid of him so they can keep Jabba's empire and he's out of the picture and all that kind of stuff. And then the movie does kind of a weird thing, okay? So there is some resolution there. Don't want to give it away.
Right.
But it ends up that the Mandalorian comes back to the New Republic base. He delivers what he's supposed to, but he didn't do it in the way that he was instructed to do it, right? And so that now creates a problem with the Hutt twins. They're pissed at him for that. And he's like, whatever, I did my job.
Yeah, I think
Right.
the Republic had had a relationship with the Hutt twins, not planning on really helping them, but getting what they wanted from them
Exactly.
also.
Yeah.
And it didn't go the way they wanted. So now we have our second quote-unquote mission.
Right. Well, so it's like it takes a little break. Mm-hmm. You know, Mando goes home with Grogu, and then not long after they're there, they get attacked by a bounty hunter. Mm-hmm. And then the stuff really hits the fan, and then there's basically the third act of the film.
And that part there, I think that's where it kind of took me out of it a little bit, was the we'll call it the chapter of Grogu.
Yeah.
It was cute. It was funny.
Sure.
I could see how my grandson loved it to death.
Yes.
I mean, I actually talked to my grandson and my son about it yesterday, and my son liked how it felt somewhat related to the original, which you may disagree with, but somewhat to the original story, the Hutts.
Okay.
And then my grandson's biggest thing was he thought it was very cute when Grogu walked with his little feet. And he liked how he took care of the Mandalorian when the Mandalorian had to be taken care of for a while.
I'm surprised during that whole sequence, a little QR code didn't appear in the corner for you to order your plush doll of Grogu.
Yeah, exactly.
Immediately right then and there.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I would have ordered all 4 of those little mechanic guys because those guys were hilarious.
Those guys are funny.
Anyway.
You know, that was probably the only thing from the third trilogy.
Yeah.
Those guys that, were of any value.
Yeah,
know? So,
right.
Anyway, in my opinion.
Yeah, so it does take a different turn, like you said.
Yes. So we'll kind of leave it there at that so you have the resolution of this whole thing where the Mandalorian or Din Djarin gets captured and taken to the Hutts, and then, he has to resolve all that thing, and they got what did I say his name was? Rada as well. And there's some things has to happen there, and then there's a sequence where we see a lot of Grogu doing things and trying to fix problems and all this kind of stuff, which is where the cute factor comes in.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it at that. But let's take a second here and just listen to the trailer.
Hey, never touch the buttons. I can use some information.
Whoa, for this price, I'll tell you whatever you want.
I'm looking for a hut.
Close for the night. Thank you.
Gangsters, war criminals.
Long live the Empire.
We'll take out every bad guy in your deck of cards.
This isn't about revenge. It's about preventing another war.
Strap in.
You will suffer. And then it will be his turn.
Before going into harm's way, check your armor. The kid will live centuries beyond me. I won't always be around to protect him.
Are you scared? You should be.
Do we run? Or do we fight?
I like this kid.
What are you waiting for? Let's save the rest for after dinner.
Okay, so now let's talk about what we thought. And we've already kind of given away some of our feelings about this, but give it to me straight, Doc. What do you think?
Like I said originally when we first came out of there, I liked it. It was pretty exciting for me. It was bringing me back to what I felt whenever I saw Star Wars movies to a point. It also was a very much a lot of possible TV episodes melded together that became on a bigger screen and having more people in the room than usually my living room.
Sure.
So that's where that kind of was. It was a great movie experience, but I can see where you come off. It's not a cinematic type of thing.
Right.
It's not something that you need to see in a theater, to be honest with you, and it's not something that I think necessarily needed a movie.
Okay.
But
Fair
then
enough.
again, since they went through it, I felt the action, the fighting, the kind of the feeling back to the time when I was a kid and seeing Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. I had a lot of those feelings from this.
Okay. All right. That's fair. And, to tag on what you're saying there, as far as the cinematicness of this film, one of the things about the series, the TV series, was that it's like, oh my God, they're doing this TV series and it looks like it was in the movies.
Yeah.
They had so much of the big screen feel
Mm-hmm.
in the TV series with the effects and the
Right.
all of the stuff they did. Is like they
And
did
like you said,
such a
the
good
book
job.
of Boba Fett was probably something that really was that way too.
Yeah, so they did such a good job making this look good in a TV series that you take it to the big screen. It's like, okay, yeah, I can see how they amped it up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But there isn't a whole lot of difference between what we saw on the small screen versus the big screen in some ways.
Agreed.
Now, my take is that yes, this is basically just season 4 of The Mandalorian.
Right.
I don't know why they thought it was necessary to make a film of this instead of just making this a TV series. Maybe it was cheaper,
Yeah, maybe.
Those accountants got onto them. It was like, God damn it, you can't do another 10 episodes. Let's make this into a
We can't pay
90-minute
Martin
movie.
Scorsese for more than one episode.
Exactly, right? You got Martin Scorsese in this, for Christ's sake. So, but it didn't, there wasn't anything revelatory or new in this movie that made you say, wow, I had to see this on the big screen. And I'll give you an example. For instance, in the Marvel universe, still a Disney product, right? You have the Marvel movies, and then you have the Marvel TV series, which is, the same format, same formula they're using for the Star Wars cinematic universe. And in the TV series, like, for instance, like, what is it? The Scarlet Witch and Vision TV show. In that series, they gave you a lot of information that will eventually help you to understand what's going on in the Doctor Strange big feature film that comes out. Doctor Strange and what is it? The multiverse of something? Yeah. I'll have to footnote that too because I can't remember.
Vision and Scarlet Witch show TV show was great.
Yeah, I mean it was a great TV show, and
well done.
It brought you to a conclusion that they then handed off to the filmmakers and said, "Okay, guys, here's all the backstory that we gave you.
Yeah,
make a movie out of this." And they took that and they made a giant movie from it.
And then, like this, as you say, it's just kind of a continuation of something
there
that's already
isn't
there.
anything brand new, right? There
not
isn't
stepped
anything
up.
that, I mean, this is just more of the same, in my opinion. So then you look at standalone Star Wars films. There's been a few films since they started doing them again. You had the trilogy, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and what was the third one?
Phantom Menace?
No,
sorry.
What is it? The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and bang. We'll footnote that. But that is, that's how much I really paid attention at this point. But, you had those films. You had the Solo, a Star Wars movie, which a lot of people shit on. I thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I
wasn't
kind of
bad.
liked it. Then you had other films that came out. But the one that I'm thinking of that did the best job of doing its part as an independent film or as a standalone film, but still vitally connected to all of the parts of the Star Wars universe is Rogue One.
Right.
Okay. Rogue One, you had characters who weren't in the original trilogy, but because of the timeline and where they set the story of Rogue One, it was going to be something that it's almost like an addendum to the original trilogy. Except it happened before the original trilogy, like 15 minutes before the original trilogy started.
Right.
And then you had, people showing up in it like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Right? Who is Star Wars, And to a lesser extent, you had Grand Moff Tarkin, which, again, it was CGI, and everybody was shitting on that. It's like, oh, I didn't look anything like him. It's like, this kind of looked like him.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't perfect. And then the cameo by Princess Leia at the end helped tie it in to the original Star Wars movie. And Star Wars, for me, is the Skywalker story. Okay? And even though the prequels with Anakin are still a part of that, and I didn't particularly like them as much. They weren't as good as the original core trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. But they were still telling you the story of Skywalker.
Right.
And the thing where the last 3 shit the bed was they tried to take it away from Skywalker, right? And ultimately they do, because Rey is not a Skywalker. She is one of the Emperor's kin, one of his descendants. And it's like, wait a minute. Even though she cheats at the end and says, no, she's really a Skywalker, she's not. She's not. I'm sorry, she's not. Even though she was, quote unquote, trained by Luke Skywalker himself. The way they treated him in that movie, in the other movies, it just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
And so now, here's the problem. And the only one who's really linked to Skywalker, they kill him off. Ben Solo's dead, right?
Yeah.
He's a Force ghost now.
Yeah.
So anything they do coming after this that is going to touch in any way, shape, or form it's kind of like the third rail of a subway system. It's so shockingly deadly that every time they come near it, the fans just go nuts because they can't get it right. And most of the problem is that they painted themselves into a corner. They killed off the Skywalkers. They killed off everyone that was related to the Skywalkers. And now they got some bullshit person who's, quote unquote, a Jedi, who's originally the Emperor's grandkid or something. So
let's go to a bounty hunter movie.
And yes, let's go on a tangent. Let's try to divert everyone's attention from that big pile of shit that we just made, and try to still live in this universe and play in this universe and make money in this universe.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
that's it.
So anyway, again, I don't see the need for this thing to be a movie, but they did, and really, the thing kind of peaked for me in the TV series at the finale of season 2, when they did bring the reason why Favreau and Filoni are so praised is because they brought Luke Skywalker back and they gave him his balls back.
Yep.
I mean, he came back with a vengeance as a full-flown, powerful Jedi that he is, and he cleaned their clocks and did what he was supposed to do. And that's why everybody loves those guys for doing it. And that energy, that vibe, is what they keep failing to bring into anything else they do.
Yeah.
Andor was supposed to be great. I watched the first season of Andor. I fell asleep on a lot of those episodes.
Yeah.
They were just too dense.
It is.
It was like the third movie in the prequels, Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Okay? Lucas started to get into his reasoning, because now Lucas is in charge, in the prequels, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, man, everybody says I'm great, so I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to really do what I want to do and really go into, these rabbit holes about what I think about Star Wars and all the original material that gave us these films. And that's when he goes into all the political stuff and I fell asleep almost in the theater on that explanation, of what was going on with the Republic and how it was transitioning and how the guy Chancellor was changing it into Empire and all that kind of stuff. It just got too dense. It lost the magic. It lost the sparkle of the original trilogy, the 4, 5, and 6. And that's, I think, kind of what happened in some of this other stuff. So anyway, I guess long story short here, and I know I'm drifting big time away from this movie, but if I have to kind of wrap it up, sum it up, I don't think this movie gave us any big ideas about Star Wars. It was just another story.
Right. Agreed.
And could have easily been delivered to us in a TV series. And my verdict is on the must-see. Well, let me ask you, is this a must-see film?
It's a must-see for a Star Wars fan that wants to go to the theater and enjoy snippets of things that they remember from the original movies and the story. As far as that's where it ends for me.
Okay. And I agree with that. 100%. It is a must-see. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to want to go see this, and you're going to enjoy it. I mean, I didn't not enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but
it's not going to hit where the other ones did.
It's
not continuing it.
It did not, like you said, it did not cover the wound that has been open and seeping now for years since The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it did not do anything to help me feel better about things, about the Star Wars universe, about since then. And there's been things since then that I have enjoyed. I loved the TV series Kenobi, and people shit on that. They didn't like that. They thought it was this and that and all that. And I thought, even though when we saw Star Wars: A New Hope, we thought, oh, wait a minute, Kenobi hasn't seen Darth Vader since their last fight, which made him Darth Vader, right? Made Anakin Darth Vader, which would have been Revenge of the Sith, right? But somehow they wedged in this storyline. It's like, no. Yes, so yes, he fought him in Revenge of the Sith and made him Darth Vader, but then they had another meeting. Before they both got too old. And it was before Star Wars: A New Hope. It was about 20, 30 years before that. It actually could have been 20, 30 years. It was probably more like 18 or something like that. Let's wedge this story in there. But even though it was kind of forced, I liked. I mean, again, you gotta like the guy who plays Kenobi,
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. Thank you. Ewan McGregor is a very good actor. Very good. Does a great job, and he pulled it off in Kenobi. And that was, post some of this stuff with the third trilogy and all that. So, Kenobi I liked. Skeleton Crew I thought was clever, even though it was about a bunch of kids and maybe geared towards a kid audience. I thought it was good. I thought that it captured some of the original spark of what Star Wars is about without being too overly to the top, kiddie-ish with like Ewoks and Jar Jar Binks and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, that was good. There were some others. Of course, the Book of Boba Fett. People shit on that. I actually liked it. I thought it did a good job of giving Boba Fett some new life, and maybe we'll get a sequel to that. I'm not sure.
And then I told you I saw Maul, which I think we already mentioned, Shadow Lord.
Yeah.
Which was really good. It's the first animated one I've seen in a while, and it was really good.
The look of it, the feel of it, all that, very good. Personally, though, if it's not about Skywalkers, I'm just kind of not interested in anything from the Clone Wars, even though Anakin was part of that. It just, I didn't watch the Clone Wars. I didn't get into any of the prequels stuff or the stuff that tried to be the connective tissue to the middle trilogy with Rebels and all that kind of stuff. I didn't get into all that. And so there are characters and things that are important in Maul, which I miss. It just doesn't connect with me. Now, even though at the end of Solo, a Star Wars story, you get the fact that Maul is actually alive post the Phantom Menace. After getting chopped in half, somehow he's alive, and he's in control of a crime syndicate at the end of the Solo movie. Right? And that's what this series, in the wake of all of that and what happens to him and where he ends up, he's kind of coming back for revenge and that kind of thing. And even though all that is connected to the Solo Star Wars movie, it's too thin for me. I didn't get it.
Well, I just want to let you know, too, that Darth Vader is in the Maul series.
And if
however, the connection might be thin.
Yeah.
But it is pretty interesting.
If I held out long enough, and nothing says I won't go back and try to watch it some other time, but now you got the Ahsoka series that I thought that was great.
Right.
And again, it was a little more heavily emphasized on the prequel stuff and the Clone War stuff, but something about it, I thought it was well done. And thankfully, they're coming out with a season 2.
Yeah.
So it's been a little hit and miss for me, and I know I'm an old guy and I'm finicky, and I'm stuck on A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and to a lesser extent, Return of the Jedi. And those are the pinnacle of what Star Wars should be, in my opinion. So, yes, it is a must-see if you're a Star Wars fan, but if you're hoping for anything revelatory or anything that gives you new insight into the whole Star Wars universe, you're not going to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So, anyway, with that said, we've got a couple other points to take care of here. Do you have any honorable mentions?
No.
Well, let me throw one out, and this could be your honorable mention too. My honorable mention is Star Wars, 1977, the original thing that kicked it all off, and it is, of course, a must-see movie.
I'm thinking I may have seen Empire Strikes Back before I saw the original.
You could not have.
No, maybe not have.
There's no way.
Maybe not. I know we're talking, and I know I didn't. I don't think I saw. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because Empire Strikes Back was like 82, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So you had to
both
have
of
seen.
those. Both
Your
of those.
grandparents would have taken you. You would have
Yes,
begged
you're
them
right. You're right.
to take them to the theater. I mean, the Granada was playing it every other day.
Yes.
In St. Louis back in the day, an old one-screen movie theater in a very sketchy part of town.
That we lived in.
Yeah.
Close to.
So, anyway, that's
honorable mention, Star Wars.
Sure. And then any coming soons? Anything that's coming up that you're like, I'm kind of interested in?
Well, I know you're going to go see it. Breadwinner.
Yeah.
That's one that you're going to be doing something on, unless I'm not supposed to tell.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Sure. That's the next episode. Yeah.
And I think I mentioned it before, but I think Masters of the Universe is something I'm going to try to look at before for my next one. But yeah, that's a coming soon that I'd like to see, even if it's not reviewed. I would like to see it.
Okay, fair enough. And for me, it's kind of a late one to come on my radar screen. And I was a little hesitant at first, but maybe after seeing a few more previews and clips of it, I'm a little more intrigued by it. Supergirl.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up here in a couple weeks. The original Superman movie where the whole DC universe is being redone by James Gunn, who was formerly of the Marvel Universe and doing that movie he did, series of movies he did, the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, formerly of the Marvel Universe doing the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he did a decent job with the movie Superman. I think we go to see it together?
I don't know if we did necessarily. Maybe we did.
I thought we did.
I'm not sure. I know I saw it, and
I don't
that's
have
when
any idea.
Supergirl was in it at the end, right?
You know, we did that. This was before the podcast.
Yeah.
We went together because Becky had no interest in going to see it.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh,
I
let's
was
go see
planned
Superman.
too.
Well, they're sure.
Plan.
Yeah. But we went to see Superman together, and it was a decent movie. I mean, it had some things in it I didn't quite get because I'm not a DC guy as much. But it wasn't horrible.
Right.
And had some interesting takes on things, and he's doing Supergirl, and it's like, okay, well, she's a character that showed up in Superman, which I didn't expect her to be a boozy drunk.
Right.
All the issues that she apparently has, and apparently we see more of that in this movie.
And I wonder if it's been influenced by the one time when Superman in the movies was angry and a mad Superman, and he was in a bar flicking peanuts at the window, at the mirror, and breaking the window.
Going back to that scene.
I love that.
It's like an iconic scene for
I
you.
love that.
So anyway, that's my coming soon.
Okay.
So yeah, we got one more episode left after this, and it'll be coming up in a couple of weeks, and we'll have lots of fun stuff to talk about on that. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. And with that, I'm Lawrence Trokey.
And I'm Derek Leftridge.
We thank you for joining us this time.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Take care. Here are some footnotes for this episode. George Lucas sold his production company, Lucasfilm, which included the Star Wars franchise and Indiana Jones, to the Walt Disney Company in 2012 for $4.05 billion. The Force Awakens takes place exactly 30 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. The Mandalorian's armor is made of the substance Beskar, a nearly indestructible fictional alloy. The Mandalorian stunt performer is Lateef Crowder. The climactic battle in Return of the Jedi is known as the Battle of Endor. Garazeb Zeb Orrelios appears as a main character in the animated series Star Wars Rebels, and as a supporting New Republic character in live-action Star Wars projects such as The Mandalorian and Grogu. The voice of Rada the Hutt is done by Jeremy Allen White. The twins, also known as the Hutt twins, referred to a Hutt brother and sister who were crime lords during the New Republic era. They were actually cousins of Tatooine crime lord Jabba the Hutt. Lawrence misspoke about Martin Scorsese's character Hugo Durant, who's actually a fry cook running a food pod named Hugo's on the planet Shikari, and not one of the Anzelians, who were the mechanics who helped the Mandalorian. In Lawrence's defense, the characters looked very similar in design. The Doctor Strange movie Lawrence was referring to was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, 2022. The third movie in the third Star Wars movie trilogy is Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, 2019. The Empire Strikes Back was actually released in 1980, not 1982, like Lawrence said. That's all for this episode. We'll see you next time. I remember seeing some thoughts about, or some documents, or not documents.
That's those artist
It wasn't like
types.
I was in the office, like going through their files, like, holy shit, Will Ferrell and Jon Favreau had a feud? No.
This has been a Shady Basement production.